confusion. And I've got something to bring you today that is actually in my new book, Cranial Nerves and Muscle Mapping. But I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of what is in the book, but I want to also teach you something at the same time. So I'm going to bring up my photo and let me show you because this is really some fascinating stuff. So this is a photo, it's a friend of mine. We're going to specifically look at the right eye. Now, you're probably looking at that. What did you do to that, Kathy? What'd you do? Well, I've got a lot of markers laid out here, but I want to just show you exactly where I look. If we take a look at the right eye, and I'm going to look at the sclera, we cannot map the cranial nerves or the muscles that we need to see if we do not use sclerology. So this is a two-part process, and you may be thinking, well, I'm just an iridologist. I only know a few signs. That's enough to get you by. I would encourage you to study more and learn more about sclerology because these are great vessels that are going to lead us to listening and going deeper with our client. So let me show you. When I talk about the cervical neck area, C1 and C2, from the pons medulla junction, I am looking in this area. That is the top of the cervical neck. So you're probably saying, Kathy, why are you looking in the bony area to find that? Well, it's the cervical C1, C2, that is a bone. But what is so fascinating about this is that the pons and the medulla oblongata reach down into that cervical spine. They're basically sitting down there, and then the spinal cord forms from that. So, yes, we are going to be able to see things that are related to C1, C2, to the medulla, to the pons in that bony area, zone 5. Okay, we know that is zone 5. So let's just take a look for a minute. And this is going to be C1, C2. We do see a pigment. Of course, we're looking at a mixed biliary eye. We do see contraction furrows in this eye. We do see some pigment in this eye. The client was specifically complaining about jaw pain, some face pain, some neck pain. I wrote about her in the book. So she's is in the book under glossopharyngeal. That's the chapter that she's going to be housed in. But I could just continue to go deeper with my clients so we can really trace and see some things that are moving on. So if we look right in this area, we see a lacuna. And we can see things in the muscle zone as well. And this is going to be in the upper jaw. Going around a little bit further, we're going to see in the cerebellum area. We're also going to see some reaction in the mastoid. What sits right in between that? The medulla oblongata sits right in between that. We do see a little bit of pigmentation, a little darkened area through that. Now, one of the things I'm pointing out in red are the upper areas of the body, of course, but these are areas that are also related to the glossopharyngeal nerve. Okay, so it is also related to the facial nerve. Now, are you asking yourself, how am I going to know if it's the glossopharyngeal or if it's the facial nerve? You might not never, ever know that. Okay, but you do know that something is out of whack, something is off, something is off kilter. The client is complaining about things like taste. She's complaining about pain back behind the ear, pain in the neck. This is all related. Absolutely, it's all related. What we see in the down below the lowest part of the iris, we see the black arrows. That is showing us more of a muscular layer. Okay, it is still in that bony area related to that spine, but it's going to branch off in different areas. So we've got the pelvic area, we've got we've even got the arm and the hand right here at this little short arrow. We've got, I want to come over here to this one because this one is really, really important for us. When we look in this area, this is in the lower lumbar sacral, that lower area right through here. We can see that we've got a pigment very close to the arrow. But I want to draw your attention to this blue arrow. This is going in from the bladder up to the pons. And you're probably saying, okay, now, wait a minute. What does the pons have to do with the bladder? Glad you asked. There is an area in the pons, and it's called PMC. That is Pontine Micturition Center. That is responsible for firing off signals to the muscles of the urethra in the bladder to say it's time to urinate. If that signal is not strong, if it is weakened, if we see weakness in that particular area, this person may have a lot of problems with incontinence. They might feel like they need to go all the time. Their bladder may release and they don't even know it. They could be just sitting down. They could be in a reclining position, and all of a sudden their bladder just leaks and they don't know what in the world is going on. That is specifically the case with this client. So she has had an implant to send a signal from brain to bladder to say, I've got to go, or to slow down, stop the nerve from firing all the time. So we have this imbalance. I did want to put this in today when I talk to you. It is not in the book. I strictly focus on the cranial nerves in the book, in that chapter, glossopharyngeal chapter, because I want to point that out. That was the first line of problems we had years ago. Okay. This in the blue is the latest contribution to health issues. Okay. So I want to tell you that there's so much information in cranial nerves and muscle mapping. I am going to be teaching a class in the spring on the whole book, because it is deep. It's going to help you be a better iridologist. It's going to help you listen to your clients and go deeper so that you can see these things. You can trace them on the iris itself. You can look in the sclera and say, oh, well, that is going right into C1, C2. Now, you might be asking, what is the influence of C1 and C2 on that brainstem back there? If they get out of whack, if one pushes in another direction and they're out of alignment, this can cause a compression on the nerves. What does the client need to do then? Do they need a chiropractor? It's possible. Do they need cranial sacral work? It's possible. Would they need massage therapy? Would they need oils applied to the back of the neck, around the occipital area, into the brainstem several times a day? All of that is quite possible. You, as a iridology practitioner, that is for you to decide and for you to work out with your client. I want to show you the direction so that we can go much deeper with our client and hone in on these issues that tend to overtake them in some cases, and they're just not getting anywhere in another path that they may be following. So I hope that helps you. I know that it was real quick, but you know what? That's how I work sometimes. I just work really quick. I hope you got it. Again, I will be teaching this in the spring. If you haven't signed up for the IPA Symposium as a hybrid attendee, I'm going to be teaching on something very specific, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So if I don't get to see you in San Diego, I'm going to miss you, but there's another way to join the conference, and that is as a hybrid attendee. And don't forget my book, Cranial Nerves and Muscle Mapping. It is available on Amazon. I am going to load it up later on my website, and I'm going to be making a special offer, so you might want to keep your eyes there, and that is www.universaliridologyacademy.com. I know that's a lot. Universaliridologyacademy.com. iridologyacademy.com. Thanks as always for watching. I'm going to bring you another Iridology Quickie real soon. Thank you.